So when you're coming into yourself, your true authentic self, when you're coming into your own codings and your own programmings, when you're no longer being played by somebody else and you're playing yourself in your own movie, right? And you've come into your creator settings, a lot of people tend to before then, when you're manifesting, a lot of people tend to set like a manifestation, like, oh, I want to get a brand new house. Oh, I'm just so tired of this old house. But they forget to set boundaries and perimeters to how to get that new house, right? So what happens is people end up like leaving the ways of getting that new house opened, right? You have to set some default codes in your programming sequence. You have to say certain things like, you want it effortlessly, you want it without complications, you want it without disasters and chaos, you want it to come harmoniously and peacefully, you want a smooth flowing transition, right? If you don't set those default codes and those boundaries and those perimeters and those security systems and firewalls, what ends up happening is the person may even like get their house burned down, be homeless for a couple of months before, I don't know, maybe the insurance company or somebody gifts them with a new house, or they have to crash into their sister's basement for a few months before they get into their new house. You know what I mean? You have to set perimeters into your manifestation. People that are in the awakening stage or in their coming into their own activation or coming into their own consciousness, what ends up happening is that because of their pre-minds that were not fully conscious, they created certain programs and they developed the programs turn into certain monsters, or you know what I mean? That now that you're elevating is coming back to bite them, because it's like, hey, you can't leave us here. Where you going, right? Because in your dull mind state, they manifested certain things and they were not fully conscious of how to manifest it properly. They did not set certain parameters, right? So now those things that they created, they wanted certain things to happen, or they were in fear of certain things, and now those things that they've created in the timelines of polar continuance is coming back to pull them in. And we have to now be conscious of it. So don't feel bad if you're like elevating your consciousness and you're like, yeah, I think I know myself now. Yeah, anything is possible. I am creator. I am source. I am this. I can make anything happen. And then boom, some friggin' shit just happens out of nowhere. And you're like, I was elevating. I thought I had this all made. How could this possibly happen? Shh. Go back into your no minds. Go back into neutral. Go back into zero ground settings. Those are things that were created in your past tractions that are trying to pull you back in because you're elevating. As the ascended masters did, they always stayed they always stayed on high tides, meaning any mishaps never bothered them. They understood that, oh, this is an ascension path. Oh, this is the old timeline that I existed in, trying to pull me to stay there. Meanwhile, I'm moving to the new timeline. You know what I mean? So once you get into that perception of things, certain things that happen don't bother you, because now you're very much conscious in the way you manifest and create reality, because your mind is more on the positive polarity side of things for yourself, because you've come into your sequence and in your lines of communications for your true authentic self. So those are just programs that you unconsciously created, and they're trying to be like, don't leave us, let them go. Allow that situation that is happening to happen, but stay on the high tides, and everything would dissolve so quickly the moment you don't travel through your emotions, the moment you don't let it bother you, the moment you don't get sad about certain things. It literally dissolves. It's like being afraid of the dark or being afraid of something and then overcoming your fears. It all of a sudden dissolves. The next time that same fear comes in, you don't even see it because you're not even afraid of it anymore, because you programmed it differently, because you gave it different codings. So going forward, when you want to manifest something, set the parameters of how those manifestations should happen for you. Again, I'm available for one-on-one. If anybody needs me, just DM me and I'll guide you through it. All right, love and light.